All right, hello and welcome back to the 10-Step Mix. I'm Al from musicguydepodcast.com, and we're working on my song called Waiting on the Right Time. We are on step 5 here, which is our vocal effects. We did step 1, which was to import our template. Step 2 of getting our rough balances with our faders. Step 3 of our mix bus processing. And step 4 of working on our lead vocals. So now we're just going to add some effects to our lead vocal. So we'll start with this spread effect, which is pretty cool. And I've already got a send built in here with my template. So I'm going to right click it and say make active. And it's always a good idea to just make sure that there's no automation on your sends if you're bringing them in from a template. So I'll just go Control equals, flip over to my edit window. There's a little drop down arrow under my lead vocal track here. I can select different sends or different parameters here. I'll select my spread, send, the level, and just have a look, make sure there's no automation. Looks like we're good to go. So this spread effect is just going to make the voice sound like it's a little bit wider. And it's taking up a little bit more space in the stereo field. And it's going to make it feel a little bit bigger. If you don't have a send already built in, you can click on an empty send here. And you can, on Pro Tools 12, just select track. And then select which track you want to send to. And it'll automatically create a bus for you and send that audio to that track. If you don't have Pro Tools 12, you may have to select an available bus, such as bus 1, 2, and then set the input of your destination track to the matching bus. So in this example, 1, 2, and then that send will communicate with your desired track. So we've already got our send ready to go here. We'll open up the plugin that's creating this effect, which is just a stock Pro Tools delay. It's a stereo delay, with the left side firing at 30 milliseconds and the right side firing at 60 milliseconds, which is very, very fast. And again, what it's supposed to do is give the impression that the vocal is a little bit wider. So let's have a listen. When I'm just dialing this in, I'm going to have it really loud and it's going to sound really strange. Here's a bit of the song where I'm singing.
I'm just waiting on the right time.
So first and foremost, we can see that we're clipping, or on the verge of clipping at least. We got the warning lights on. So just open up the send, bring it down to -6. All my sends, I want them to be follow main pan, so that if I change the pan of the element, then the send will also follow that. And I want it to be post fader, not pre. So I want to have this not on. So if I adjust the volume of this element, then the send will react with that as well. So bring that down 6 dB, and now we're not clipping anymore.
I'm just waiting on the right time.
All right, and you might notice that the panning's a little bit funny on this one, and that's because of the way this delay works with the right side firing later than the left. The vocal will appear to be further to the right, just because of the way it tricks our brain. So if I pan this full left and right like this, you'll see what I mean.
I'm just waiting on the right time.
So it sounds like, especially if you're wearing headphones, you'll really notice that it sounds like the vocal's a little bit off center. It's a little bit further to the right. So just use your ears and play with this right pan knob and try to get the vocal feeling like it's centered. So we'll do that now.
I'm just waiting on the right time. I'm just holding on to
probably too far to the left.
rope round a piece of my heart, and I can't let go.
Somewhere around there feels pretty centered.
I'm just waiting on the right time. I'm just
perfect. And then you really want to bury this effect, so I'm going to bring it way down to the point where I can't even really hear it at all. But you'll see when I mute it that you'll really notice that it's gone.
I'm just waiting on the right time. I'm just holding on to hope.
Can't really hear it anymore, but
a piece of my heart, and I can't let go.
You notice how all of a sudden, as soon as I mute it, the vocal just snaps to the middle of the track. It just feels like it's completely mono. It's got no air or space around it. gets way smaller sounding. So we'll check that out again.
I'm just waiting on the right time. I'm just holding on to hope, tied a rope round a piece of my heart.
It just opens it up, adds a little bit of extra space around it. A short room reverb might do a similar job, but this is what's been working for me. So the next effect we'll bring in is the reverb. So I've got a send here, and I will activate that. And again, we'll just double check that it doesn't have automation on it. Select Vox Verb level, and we see that we're all clear here. So we'll go back and check out the Vox Reverb. This is just an RVerb preset that sounds really good. So let's hear how it sounds.
Right time.
We can see that we're
I'm just waiting
kind of on the verge
right
of clipping
time.
here. So I'm going to do the same thing. I'm just going to bring this back. I'm going to bring it down 6 dB. Compensate here. We'll bring this up 6 dB to minus 12.
I'm just waiting
now we know we're
on
safe.
the right time. I'm just holding on to hope, tied a rope round a piece.
So I like having reverb pretty low in mixes. You don't want to really hear that it's there unless it's for an effect, but just to add a little bit of size, add a little bit of space to the vocal, sounds good. And the last effect I like to use is a quarter note delay, usually in the choruses, sometimes in the verses, but I'll just bring it way down in volume, or I might cut it out completely. So I will activate this send here, Vox delay, and here's the delay. It's the H delay. Sounds really cool. And we'll set it to a quarter note. It's already snapped to our host tempo of 126 that we entered a few videos ago. I have the analog off because it just makes a bunch of weird noise, and I don't know why they put this on their plugins. But it's off, and let's have a listen to it. How about that?
I'm just waiting on the right time. I'm just holding on to hope, tied a rope round a piece of my heart, and I can't let go.
So if we want to get rid of some of the S's and the T's and the articulation in the delay, one thing I like to do is lo-fi it a little bit by putting a high pass on at about 300 and a low pass on at about 3000 or 3K.
I'm just waiting on the right time. I'm just holding on to hope.
So it takes out all those S's and T's and clicks and pops that sort of would make the delay sort of stand out and sound maybe a little bit too loud or a little distracting. And it leaves you with just sort of all the creamy, sort of mid-rangey stuff in the vocal. So I find that really helps to get the delay to sit in the mix. The other thing we want to do with the delay is automate it in and out for the choruses. So I will select my delay send level. There's already some automation from the previous track. I'm just going to go ahead and remove that. And let's go to our chorus and see how this sounds.
I'm just waiting on the right time.
So maybe we'll bring that up a little bit. 3 dB.
I'm just waiting on the right time.
Let's start there. So I'm using my trim tool, F6, to move this up and down, and my F7 tool to select an area. So because we have our markers set, this makes it really easy to just sort of select all this area here, which is, we can see the verse up until the chorus. And we'll just I don't want to take it all the way out for this song, but I'm going to bring it down pretty significantly. I'll bring it down 9 dB, and if I hold Control on my keyboard, that's going to allow me to make the fine adjustments here and get it exactly how I want it. There we go. So now we can hear the verse and see with the vocal not soloed if the delay is too much.
I'm afraid of the way I've been looking at you.
So far it seems pretty reasonable. And then the chorus here.
I'm just waiting on the right time.
Might even be able to bring it up a little bit, actually. So maybe we'll do that. So we'll bring the entire send up by, let's say, 3 dB. So I'm going to click at the end of the send here with my F6 tool, hold Control, bring it up 3 dBs.
It's good.
And let's hear how the chorus sounds now.
I'm just waiting on the right time. I'm just waiting on the right time.
Just adds a little bit of length to the vocal and adds some more space. So we'll go to our second verse, all the way to our second chorus. We'll pull that down again. We'll do 9 dBs. And we'll do the same in our bridge. This broken down area of the bridge, I'm going to do even a little bit more. I'm going to do 12 dBs there. And I'm going to use my hand tool, F8, to make a dot here. And use F6 to drag this down. 9 dBs. This is when the band is back in.
I'm lost, I can't keep up.
So we can tolerate a little bit more delay there. And then when the band stops and there's this break here,
And I gotta tell you now,
definitely want to take the delay out there, I think. So I'm going to make a dot with the hand tool, F8, switch to F6, drag this completely out. I think I'll also take the reverb, maybe not completely out, but way down. Let's go down 12 dBs here with the reverb.
and I gotta tell you now.
There we go. So it's not completely dry, but it's pretty darn close. Okay, cool. So now the other thing we could do that we maybe should have done last video is copy our lead vocal settings over to our other lead vocal track, this ad-lib track. So we'll do that now. We'll match the volume here, 6.5, and we'll hold Alt and click and drag over all the settings we did last video. We can also click and drag over the sends that we just worked on in this video. And when I copy over my delay send that had automation on it that we just finished working on, that will copy the automation. And I will say, yes, I do want to continue. It'll copy that automation onto the ad-lib tracks. Okay, so now we've got effects on our vocal and we're ready to start mixing some more individual elements of the mix. So we will see you for the next video where we'll be working on the drums. See you there.